Good morning. Ooh, it is Monday, February 6th, 2023. My name is Lee. Welcome to the corner. This is our space where we hang out and we talk about crafty things, mostly knitting. Every once in a while, crochet, cross stitch, sewing, crafty stuff. Whatever I feel like making. I just talk you through what I'm doing at any given moment. It is a super gloomy day here in Pittsburgh, PA today. The light may be a bit extreme. It is so dark outside. I have finished my coffee for the morning. I have moved on to water. I have quite a few things to talk to you about today. I had a couple of acquisitions, but have finished knitting them up. So instead of the acquisitions, I have a finished object to show you. Actually, I have 3 finished objects, all in all. And then I have a couple of really exciting announcements or things to show you that will be announcements here very soon. Design related. Spoiler alert. I also think that I'm going to start updating you on like what else I'm into at the end of the episode instead of like life updates unless something big goes on. I think I'm just gonna like let you know if what I'm really into at the moment, like what book I'm reading or if I'm watching a show that I'm really into, stuff like that. So that if you're also consuming that media content, you can share it with me. We can share it together and that'll be really fun. I'm also thinking about starting a new series on this channel where I literally just sit and knit with you. So if you're into just like body doubling, which I am, I have ADHD and body doubling is a big part of my productivity. Yeah, I figured I'd start making some of those. Anyways, let's get started. Let's talk about what I've been into. Not what I've been into. Let's talk about what I've been up to this past week. So last time we talked, I think I was almost done with this. And I was closer to being finished than I thought when I showed you last. But I have finished my ube shawl. This is a crochet shawl. The pattern is a free pattern by Ito Yarn. And I have finished it, I've washed it, I've blocked it. It is beautiful. It ended up being, whoop, my ring got caught on it, fairly large. And the drape, it ended up softening up a whole lot, but it is a fingering weight shawl, so. But it is a good size, like it is plenty big enough. So this is what it looks like on my ube shawl. I love how it turned out and it smells good because I blocked it. Nice close-up of the stitch. It's just a half granny square shawl. And I had 2 skeins of fingering weight, a 2-ply fingering weight. It was 100% merino. And I just crocheted until I was out. I did have a little nugget left over, but the nugget wasn't enough to go across the whole nother time. So that's going into the scraps. I need to weigh it actually and see if there's enough for me to put it in my Cozy Memories, because I think there might be just enough to put into my Cozy Memories blanket. And there's that. My first FO of the day. That was a lot of fun. I really enjoy crochet. I can't do a lot of crochet projects because crochet really bothers my hand, but it's really great for like changing up what you're doing with your hands. I've been enjoying having like one crochet project, like a casual crochet project on the go. It's been a lot of fun for me. I really should get my act together, and the next crochet project I have on the go should be putting this blanket together. But let's not talk about that. I haven't worked on that, so it's not part of the episode today. Next FO. Now we're gonna ignore ends here because I have not woven in my ends. Oh, and I still have a progress keeper attached to it. Let me take that off. Stuff some ends inside here. I'm counting this as done even though the ends aren't woven in because that's what I tend to do with socks. I count them as done and then I'll just sit down and weave in ends on like 2 or 3 pairs of socks all in one go. But I've finished my pink socks. These are a Valentine's themed sock set from Murray & Company Wool Goods, and it is called Group Hug. and I did a sock pattern with these. Basically I used the heel for a sock pattern because I wanted to try out this new heel. I loved the way it looked and I was very interested, I was intrigued by it. But it is a pattern called the Simple Shortbread Socks, and it is called the Shortbread Heel, and it is a pattern from Larkspur Knits. It is an afterthought heel that mimics the look of a heel flap. So it looks like this. It's the leg side, so you can see when it's on the foot, it looks like this. And I really loved it. I thought it was great. It was great because it is interesting, but super, super simple to do. So I love how those turned out. The colors are so good. The colors really kept me going on this. I was really motivated to keep working on these just because I love knitting up all of this bright, variegated yarn. Just pure pleasure with those. So those are done. Yay. And I have one more FO. Now this FO is a new cast on also, and it was also my acquisition. Every February at my local yarn shop, we do a knit along called Fair Isle February. The local yarn shop is Yarns by Design, and Fair Isle February is a knit along where we kind of pick one or two patterns, stranded colorwork patterns, that we all will knit together. You have to use yarn that you purchased from the store to participate for prizes. But the pattern, we chose two patterns, and one of them was a shawl, not shawl, a cowl, and then the other one was a hat. And I don't wear just like single loop cowls, really. I do wear hats though. The hat pattern that we picked is called the corduroy cap. It's a colorwork hat that looks like plaid, and it is a design by Amy Langton. She is at Ponderbird. And this is a one size fits all hat, which is not true. Now that I have finished this hat, spoiler, I finished my hat already, I would definitely say that this hat, it provides one size, but it's definitely like an adult medium size. So if you have a larger head, I would definitely recommend sizing up a needle size or two for this pattern, or adding repeats perhaps if your head is quite a bit larger. So keep that in mind. I have not blocked mine yet, so it has not relaxed yet, but it just fits my head, and I do not have a very large head. I have like an average sized head. It says on the pattern that is meant to fit a head, average adult head size of 21 to 23 inches, but I do not believe this would fit a 23-inch head. So anyways, but I also have a fairly tight gauge for color work, so that might have something to do with it. You size up a needle or two for the color work then, if you are like me and are a bit tight with the color work. But this is my corduroy cap. Nope, corduroy cap. Oh, that's the back. Let's not show you the end of round because it is the ugly part. All right, here it is. Like I said, it's not blocked yet, so the stitches haven't relaxed, but I still think it looks pretty good. I used Brooklyn Tweed tones for this, and mine has big 70s vibes. And look at how neat the decreases of the crown are for this. I really like it. It's this is what Brooklyn Tweed tones does. This is the tag. It's thinking about it. There we go, Brooklyn Tweed tones. It is a worsted weight yarn, which means this knit up super fast. I knit almost all of the color work. Well, I finished the hat last night, but I had done one repeat of the color work here, and I finished the other two repeats and the hat itself. I finished all of that while watching the Banshees of Inisherin last night, which was incredible. Big fan. I love Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson movies. They're just so good together. I love them. My boys, my heart. Anyways, the colors I used are, oh no, which one's which? Oh, this one is an undertone. If you're not familiar with Brooklyn Tweed's tones, they have two different yarn bases. One has a gray base and one has a white base, and they dye the same color on each base. So there is a light and a dark version of each color. And the undertone is the dark version of each color. The main color is an undertone called persimmon, of persimmon. And then the pink color here is an overtone called wallflower. And then the contrast color, that bright green, is an overtone zest, which was a scrap that my friend Natalie gave me. But I have a ton of the wallflower color left. And this is how much of the, oh gosh, I have all my ends in here still. This is how much of the main color I have left. So I could do another hat in opposite colors, which I might do, and I might size up the needle. We'll see, we'll see. So I could totally do that. But these were, well, this one I didn't purchase. This was a scrap from a friend, but I did purchase these 2 skeins for the knit along, and that was my only acquisition and my last finished object. I can't believe it just like stands up. Like I said, it hasn't relaxed, but it's like a cap for sure. It is very literal. It is definitely a watch cap style fit. So that is it for finished objects. All right, let's talk about whips. I did want to update you real quick that as of last episode, I had finished my bond weave samples for the yarn shop, which meant that my computer knitting was gone. That was my computer knitting. So I have moved a project over to the computer to be my new computer knitting. And I have moved my Joanna hat to the computer to be computer knitting. So this is the current status of my Joanna hat. This may be the last time you see it until it's done, because once it's relegated to computer knitting, we usually don't see it again until it's done. But I have probably added another, this is probably doubled in size since you saw it last, approximately. But this is just a 2x2 ribbed, all over ribbed hat, and it's got a double folded brim. So I'm just knitting 2x2 rib until the total length of the hat is done before I start the decreases. And this is just one of the best fitting and warmest and most comfy hats that I have. I've knit this before, or that I've had. I knit this before, but I gifted the hat away. So I'm making myself one now. And I am using these 2 yarns held together. This is a Stitch Together Studio color called Dirty Pavement. It is on a single ply base. And then this is Farmer's Daughter Fibers Oh Dang, which is the Surrey Silk base in the color Union Street State of Mind. And that's where I am on that. I have the most incredible stitch marker on here that is just, it brings me joy every time I come around. And it is from Sassafras Knits. It's beautiful vintage finding with some lapis stones. And it matches perfectly, and that just brings me a lot of joy. So that's that for now. I have also pulled out these socks. This is my Black Pearl Magic bag, which is one of my favorite bags, and it's got the rainbow zip. And in here I have my Cider House socks. The Cider House socks are a pattern by Summer Lee, and they are an all over cabled sock. And it's been a minute since you've seen these. I think it's been a couple of episodes since I pulled these out, because they've been kind of sitting in a basket, my whip basket downstairs, because I got distracted by other things I wanted to finish. These socks, I was working on a sudden surprise knit along, all sorts of things. I just wasn't working on these. But since I finished my pink socks, I decided to pull these out and work on these a bit more. I finished one that you have seen. This yarn is a sock set from Dragon Horde Yarn, and it is a main skein, which is a tweed base, and then 2 mini skeins here. and it is called Fairy Yule Tree. And the main color is this beautiful, here on the foot you can see the variation in the color here of the main color. And I did the two-tone stripes for the cuff, and then I took the stripe color for the toe for this one. And then for the second one, I will be doing the opposite. So this one will have a gray toe. But since you saw this last, I have finished the leg, and I have turned the heel, and I have started my way down the foot. So I've gotten like, maybe this far since you've seen it last-ish. It's fine. It's a fairly mindless knit, especially once you like get going. And now that I am past the heel, half of every round is just stockinette. So it's going even faster now. So hopefully I can knock these out this week and be done with these. These have been on the needles for way longer than socks should be on my needles for. But they are very cute. They are taking me longer, but that's because I kept putting them aside. The struggle I usually have with pattern socks, I'm not really feeling that. Like, I'm fine with these. They're mindless enough. I'm not struggling to work on these. I just kept getting distracted. So yeah, those got some work done on them. All right, the only other whip I'm going to show you that you've seen before is a sweater. In this bag, this is my mystery yellow bag that I keep my knitting themed pins on. If you've been here before, you know I don't know where that bag came from. I mean, my husband bought it for me, but besides that, I don't know what shop it came from. All right, the pattern in this bag is the Rock Pool sweater, which is a pattern by LeighKnits France. And it is a cropped sweater with open like eyelet lace sleeves. And I have finished the body of this sweater. So I don't have any needles on it right now because I haven't picked up the sleeves yet. I actually sat down and tried to pick up a sleeve this morning while I was doing my morning coffee, and I failed. I didn't like the way it looked when I picked up the stitches, so I pulled them out. But I have finished the body. It's looking almost exactly like how I imagined it would look when I planned out these colors. The only difference is the balsamico color goes all the way across the shoulders, when originally in the plan it was just going to be around the collar here. But that's not how the construction of the sweater worked. So the only way I could have achieved that was with intarsia, so I just didn't do it. I didn't bother. So this is what it looks like. The little pops of yellow I think are super cute. I did try it on last night and it hits at just a really nice true cropped length. Right now it hits right at the top of my hips, but this is 100% superwash merino, and it is a very loose gauge. It is DK knit on a size 8 needle, so it's gonna drop a fair bit when I block it, which is gonna be fine. It'll be a nice comfortable length then. And yeah, this is it up close. I am knitting this out of one of my earliest, I think this was my first hand-dyed sweater quantity ever. But this is Explorer Knits and Fibers, her Rockies DK base, which is 100% superwash merino, like I said. And the colors are, this is from her Italy collection, the OG Italy collection when it first came out. And these are the colors Balsamico, Azzurro, and Fresca. And I love how these colors look together. I think they're nice and they're kind of preppy and sporty in a way, especially with the stripes. I think it's really cute and kind of casual. Yeah, I'm so pleased with this. I have this ridge here of stitches where I picked up for the hem, and that is a really cute detail that LeighKnits France uses in several of her patterns, and it's supposed to be that way around the shoulders as well. But when I picked up this morning, I wasn't a huge fan of how it looked, so I'm not sure I'm gonna do that. I didn't do it on the collar, So I may not do it around the shoulder seams. I will do it, it happens again at the cuff. So I will do it there, but I think I might just not do that at the shoulder seams and leave them a standard picked up shoulder seam. But besides that, I'm knitting this to pattern. No modifications yet, except for, you know, the colors, because the pattern is written for just one color of yarn. So it doesn't say anything about color changes. That is all me. So that's how that's looking. I'm super pleased with it. It was bound to be a crop sweater to begin with, because I didn't have a huge sweater quantity of this yarn. I'm working with only 5 total skeins. So yeah, and a long sleeve sweater. But I love how it's going. This yellow is so bright. And this cornflower blue, periwinkle, oh, so good. And look at how uniform the variation is in this. I did not alternate skeins. Her tonals are just so good. I have 2 more things that I've been working on, but I can only show you one of them. One of them is a secret, so I will not be showing you that. And the other one is my new sock design. Now, I've been teasing a new sock design for a while, and in the past couple of episodes, if you've been here, you have heard that that design is no longer as close to being finished as I thought it was going to be. I have some working out to do. I need to figure some stuff out. So I started a new sock design, and this one went so smooth. It was smooth sailing from start to finish for this one. I have finished writing up all the way through the heel of this sock, and now just have like a couple more little tweaks to figure out the foot and toe kind of thing. But everything up until that point is graded and done. And I'm just gonna sit down and finish figuring out what I'm gonna do for the foot and toe today, so it'll be done and ready to go. But the second I finish knitting this sock, I will be putting out a tester call so that I have like a photo of what it looks like. But I'm so close. I basically knocked out a good chunk of this sock this weekend. But this is my new sock design. I do not have a name for it yet. I'll probably figure that out today as well. But, oh look, this is the front of the sock. It looks vanilla. And then the back of the sock looks like this. I love it so much. Now, for me, details in socks are very important. It's very important to me that little things are thought about, and that stitches play with each other in a certain way. So I have modified the cuff on this one. I love a modified cuff. There we go. We have an unconventional stitch distribution for this pattern. I have an odd number of stitches on the front and back of the sock to make sure that there is a single stitch center for the design, because I wanted this to be completely centered. So I have modified the stitches so that, or the ribbing stitches, so that this here goes all the way down, it continues on down, and it continues on down all the way to the foot, or to the bottom of the heel. And then this is completely centered, and it features a modified strong heel so that I could carry the pattern all the way down the foot without any real problems, any real struggles. So it is intuitive, it is easy to memorize, and it is not that complicated. And I knit it up pretty quickly, but I'm very excited about this design. I have used Ex Libris fibers. This is just her standard sock base. It is a 75% superwash merino, 25% recycled nylon. And this color is called Witch Garden Flowers. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So beautiful. I bought this at Bitchcraft Fair, which is a show here in Pittsburgh in the fall that I worked there as well. I had a table there. So I purchased this while I was there, and I'm so glad I did. Oh, it's perfect for this design. It's moody, kind of extra as hell. I love it. These are definitely like special socks. This won't fit very well in a shoe or a boot, so they're gonna be great for like around the house socks or for like showing off, like in Birkenstocks or Crocs or something. But that is that. I will be trying to finish up writing this today and putting out a tester call in the next couple of days. I already have a list of testers that are interested in getting notified when a testing call opens up. If you'd like to be added to that, shoot me a message. I don't need a ton of testers. I will want 1 or 2 for each size. If you're interested, let me know. Testing call will be out this week, so that hopefully I can get these out pretty soon. And that is the only other thing I worked on besides the secret thing, which I'm also going to be working on today. But I'm very excited about those, and they're in my Delique wrist snap bag that I got from my local yarn shop. And that's it for knitting. So not a whole lot has been going on in my life, but I did want to share with you what I'm reading. I did mention that we watched The Banshees of Inisherin last night and loved it. Whew, sorry, I had to go run downstairs. My neighbors, they didn't renew their lease, so they'll be moving. So they're having people tour their apartment, and I have to watch some cats. So I have cats in the basement now. Whew, just running around. I also got LED light strips for under one of my table things. They're LED grow lights so that I can have my plants downstairs and not die. So that's very exciting. What was I talking about? Oh, I was talking about the media I've been consuming. So yeah, Banshees of Inisherin is really good. And also, I have been reading a new book. I finished Harrow the Ninth, and it was a lot. It was very emotionally draining. So I had picked out 3 other books to read from the library, and I figured all 3 of them sounded lighter than Harrow. So I started one. The one I started first is The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, which is by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, and she's the one who wrote Mexican Gothic, which I also read and I loved. I really enjoyed it. And this is her newest book, I believe. I started this, I am about halfway through. Yeah, I'm right about halfway through. I'm really enjoying it. I don't know how it's gonna end, but if it goes the way I hope it goes, I'm going to be very, very pleased. So this has been a lot of fun. It's called The Daughter of Dr. Moreau, like the island of Dr. Moreau. It is the same Dr. Moreau. It's kind of like a play on that. So very interesting, very fun. There are dark themes in most of her books. I believe she carries dark themes in most of her books, but it's a little faster read and just more of a fun time than Harrow was. Harrow was harrowing. I'm sorry for that. I apologize for that dad joke. But that's it. That's all I have for today. I applied to a test knit. I'm waiting to hear back on if I got in or not. If I did, that'll be exciting, but also irresponsible. But you know, whatever. DM me if you're interested in test knitting my socks. And I will see y'all next time.